Okay, we're live. Part two. Because we didn't get a part one. Oh man, looks like my camera got shifted down a little bit. Let me make some adjustments while we're talking here. We still don't have an update. Not that we were fully expecting it yet, but it would be nice if we did get it, right? Okay, let's go. When I did the Mac OS 10 update, looks like we got a camera change. Okay, almost. There we go. Okay, so we're streaming. This is part two in the long road to Logic Pro 11. I was reading the comments just a minute ago. One of my favorites at the top there right now, Gandalf saying, I'm going to have to change my channel name. And I thought about that actually. Back when Logic Pro X was first released, it wasn't clear that a few things. One, if it would be easier not to change my channel name, because I knew it didn't match up with anything that's the future, right? So who knows what they were going to change the name to? I didn't know. It could have been GarageBand Pro for all we knew at some point. But I think now that I've had this channel name for almost 10 years, we're going to be leaving it forever in memory of Logic Pro X back in the day when that was the cool thing. Back in the good old days. So right now we are in a holding pattern and we don't know when it's going to be coming. I've seen some comments that somebody in one of the other videos said that they talked to some sort of media person at Apple today, and they said it could come out anytime before midnight. So we don't know when it's coming out. There's been some rumors about 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is in 55 minutes. And so we'll see what that's going to be happening with. Oh, yeah. So, Brian, it was your comment that I had seen in a different place as well. We don't know. So I've seen updates. So my remembrance of updates happens about when they come out and I'm doing something else. And one of the last bigger ones, we didn't know it was coming out. They didn't do an announcement in advance on one of the updates. Maybe, I don't even know if it's a smaller update or not. But I just remember I was at lunch and it was on the way home from lunch. And I always eat lunch 11:30 to 12 o'clock. And so it was close to 1 o'clock my time in Denver, which is Mountain Daylight Time right now. And so that's in 55 minutes. So we're hoping. Yeah, Australia already the 14th, but they can't release it. They could have released it on a time when pretty much everybody was in the same day, but they rarely do that. I guess Apple doesn't care about Australia's ability to plan in advance. But it is going to come. There's no question. We've seen it in action. I am checking the iPad version every 15 minutes or so, and so we'll check it out. Oh, so the Apple website Australia, it is mentioned as the 14th of May. That was nice of them, at least. Oh. Singapore, 14th. Advertises 13th over there. Okay. Cool. So not perfect. Worldwide companies like this do have some logistical error or considerations, which I think we give them some slack. But we'll see. We had about 500 people on the stream until I decided to take it down for a few minutes just to do the Mac OS update for Sonoma. So now I'm on Sonoma 14.5. Sometimes when a system update comes out on the same day as a Logic Pro update, you have to go to the updated version first. And then the updates will show up. That has not been the direct case this time, meaning I did the 14.5 Sonoma update, and Logic is still showing up as an earlier version. But we'll see. Let's track some comments for a few minutes. Do I think the interface will have any redesign? Yes, I do think the interface will have some redesign. We know that. Let me pull open one of the biggest clues we have for that. We're going to just pull open a browser page here in the bottom part of the screen. Okay. Because on the Apple page with Logic, I do love that you type in LOG and it always wants to take you to a Logitech thing in the search. Okay, cool. It's hard to see, but some of the icons, okay, right up in the top corner here. That's not zooming in very much. Let me see if I can take it in any further. It's pretty small, but it looks like the icon that's on the iPad version for the browser. And so because of that, we're expecting the browser perhaps to be updated as well. And if that's the case, then it is an upgrade to the current browser, which is not so great. But it doesn't mean that you're going to get anything you want from this. Not really. And so we'll wait and see just what that looks like. In terms of the rest of the interface, if these are to be believed, the screenshots, which I don't know why we wouldn't, they all look about the same. I do see the panning knobs on this main page all show the stereo pan option. I'm wondering if finally it'll be a default to have stereo pan instead of the balance knob. So we'll see. And Justin's asking about Dolby Atmos updates. I don't foresee that many coming in there, and that's a guess because what we've seen with Studio One releasing Dolby Atmos and Pro Tools just releasing integrated Dolby Atmos is that it's pretty much similar feature set to what we had in Logic. And so I don't imagine that they're going to be doing much with that. I don't imagine that we're going to be seeing too many big things with it, at least. We might see some refinements. That's how Logic and Apple have been working now for some time with some of those features. We see incremental things for a lot of them. And so that's probably what's going to happen with that. We'll see it in the release notes, a number of things Atmos related, but none of them massive. And partly why I would think that is because the pass back between iPad version and the Mac version is feature contingent, right? You have to have the things in one that go to the other. Well, spatial audio is not one of those things that's actually compatible back and forth. There's a list of things which cannot go to the iPad version, and that's one of them. There are a few others, but that's one of the biggest ones. You cannot do spatial audio of any kind on the iPad, and they're not planning on doing that in this version, I don't believe, from everything we've seen. If they do, I would be shocked. Why would they do that? I mean, they're not quite powerful enough with that interface. Now, I would love, and this is something that personally that I would like, is for the iPad remote to actually be able to control parts of the Atmos mix. It's like, why can't we move stuff around in the spatial audio realm with a touchscreen interface controller? I mean, that would be cool. So that's my guess for that. Plastodon, no one's been happy about any of this stuff so far. Actually, that's not true. I've read through every single comment in the past week, and that's a lot. One of the videos I did on the announcement day last week has over 40,000 views and just hundreds and hundreds of comments. And there's actually a ton of people who are super pumped about the update. Now, whether they're pumped about having to wait right this moment, that's different. Because we don't know the exact release time. I don't think it's scheduled to happen on like a downbeat of an hour. That's never been my experience. And so we're going to just chill and wait a little bit. And we're going to be checking both the Mac version and the iPad version, which I'm going to do a quick check on right now. Because... let me close the app. This refreshing stuff on the iPad is different. I just did the iPad OS update as well. I don't know where I was coming from because I haven't done an update on this in a little while. But I have found anytime it says, do you want to be updated for apps or give notifications for updates? They never notify you right when things are released, ever. It always takes some time and comes later. So nothing on the iPad yet either. And the Logic Remote is still showing the previous version too. So in terms of the interface, it looks pretty much the same. It's not the greatest resolution on this web page. But I know tons of people on Reddit were over on the weekend just analyzing every little bit of these to see if anything looked different. And I mean, I was noticing with the Drummer Trek that the panning knob was interestingly panned. They don't show that often, and that's actually not the default to have the stereo pan type option up. So we'll see if that means anything at all. Girish says they're done for today in India and they're going to check tomorrow. Matthew is writing about an AI auto mix. And I mean, you got to imagine that's some point down the road, right? Who knows? But you got to imagine. So far, JT Wright has not come out for anybody that we know of. I'm reading some of these other comments. Matthew's asking, will the chord track be able to be used for regular MIDI? That's one of the hopes. Right now, all we've seen evidence is for the new session musicians, but the old one, so the old chord track actually did control more than just Apple loops. It just didn't do it with any sophistication or nuance. It was essentially just a transpose thing, and it did not work well. Good idea. The tech wasn't ready for it. Excuse me. Jivan, yes, the chord track, by all accounts, should work on the Intel-based computers. And that's because the bass player and the keyboard player and the drummer all will work on the Intel-based as well. They just won't be as powerful. And by powerful, I mean probably you'll be able to, I don't know. We don't know what that means. It's recommended to run on silicon, but that doesn't mean it's been limited to it. Let's see. Someone says they just canceled the release due to too many bugs. Well, if that was the case, we never would have gotten any updates. Let's see. There aren't any videos from Music Help Tech Guy or Why Logic Pro Rules. That's so odd. And Plastodon, that's not odd at all. And this is one of the reasons why I'm not currently a beta tester for Logic. I've had some opportunities over the years. People have tried to talk me into doing that. I've been beta testers for a lot of software, but my only rule for beta testing is that I get to talk about it. And so that's not a popular way to do it. And so they have to wait. They're embargoed until the release. So all of these YouTubers who have not done any content whatsoever, you just learned that they're more than likely beta testers or on vacation someplace and not near a computer. That happened to me one time. I was traveling there with a big update, and I was like, oh, gosh. I didn't have my laptop or anything with me. And Justin, you got to know somebody is the only way that I know of. But they keep things pretty tightly closed. And so I'm not on the beta test. And even if I was offered it, I would likely say no, because half the fun are making these videos where we get to talk about stuff and conjecture, and I get to do serious complaining about things and moaning, and I'm not somebody who wants to be embargoed and told to keep quiet about things. It would drive me crazy to know what the next thing was and not be able to make videos about it. That's no fun at all. And so maybe there's a chance that it someday I would be really interested in being part of a beta, but who knows? So there's about almost like 430 people watching right now. What is driving you the craziest? What do you want to use the most when it comes out? What are you going to try first? That's what I want you to put in the chat for a minute. Like, what are you going to try the very first? What's the first thing you're going to look at when it comes out? Matthew Pate, thanks for coming and watching. It's been strange this time around, and that is because I have the freedom to talk about it without having to worry about any sort of non-disclosure agreement, which is nice. But my channel is always talking about Logic, so make sure you all subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. You're going to see, once it releases today, you're going to see videos from all the other YouTubers. So those ones you can go check out. The one thing that'll be different about them and what we're doing here is this live conversation. And so they're going to have some nice videos about what features are there. And they'll be well made. They're all like, we have some super smart members of the Logic Pro community making some great videos. I'm not going to be making any introductory style videos. I never do. I teach at the University of Colorado, Denver. I've been teaching there. Well, my first class I ever taught there was 20 years ago this year. And I teach a lot of beginners and a lot of introductory things. And so when I made this channel, I decided I would never really do introductory type things, because then I would just be doing my work twice every day, and it didn't feel like the right thing. So my channel is always about cool things that interest me, that intrigue my imagination, all having to do with Logic or related things, but also some more of the advanced things. I get so many comments on my videos over the years that say, can you start back at the beginning and cover like the basics of this? And sad for some people, but I definitely ignore those comments because that's just not one of those things I'm interested. Go watch some of the other great videos. I mean, Music Help Tech Guy is amazing. And Why Logic Pro Rules is great. And I'm a Music Mogul does a bunch of really cool things. And so there's a ton of video content creators for Logic that do a lot of the introductory type content and basics. And I'm not interested in that as much. We're hoping, so those of you who are talking, what we're going to do, we're going to go for about 45 to 50 more minutes on this stream. And then I'm going to probably take another break and eat some lunch. I don't want to eat on a live stream. I could. It'd be kind of grody. Just eating and video in general is not one of my favorite things. So thanks, Bitterman, for saying that. I appreciate that. I'm looking at everybody's comments. I mean, session musicians are what people are looking for. So Matthew's asking, can you talk about the order of events on your channel once it releases? What we're going to do is once it's released, I'm going to download it live. I'm going to open it up for the very first time live, and then we'll look at some of the big features, and then just do a quick 30-minute or so exploration, and then we'll pull the plug. And then this evening, for those who can do it, it'll be early morning across the planet on the other side. But everybody in the USA, this evening, I'm going to be going through the release notes. That's one of the things I do on my channel for every update since I started doing it. And once I started doing the release notes, I realized that really very few other people were going through those and talking about every single one of them. So that'll be what we do. We have 3 sets of release notes, hopefully. And then there's 4 and 5 things that may happen in the next week or two, which will be GarageBand if it gets any updates. They go back and forth with which one gets the updates first, and then MainStage if it gets any updates. So we have the Logic Pro for Mac, the Logic Pro for iPad, and then the Logic Remote. And so those are the 3 sets of release notes that I'll do either in one big video or a couple smaller videos. And so after that, this whole week, each day we're going to be using the new features. I do this series called Song Night, where I go through, and in the past it's always been like using features and specific things, but in the context of writing a song. And so I'll be doing those this week with each of the instruments as a feature, and plus any other new features we find out about, just so that I get to know them and use them, and you get to learn as we go. So even if you're not updating, or if you are updating, those are useful videos a lot of the time, because it's all about the usage of them. It's like, great, you can go watch some of the other guys go through every single feature and explain how to use it. I don't want to replicate what some of the other content creators are making there. So I do the live streams where we go through the features, and then you can interrupt and say, hey, can you show more about that or whatever? That's like something you don't get from the canned videos. And so I think that if you're interested in that, make sure you're checking back later this week, because we'll be doing a number of those things. And all of this stuff, this was perfect timing. I write books as well. I'm an author with Routledge Press, which bought Focal Press. If any of you have heard of Focal Press over the years, they do a lot of audio production style books. And my new book is all about social media and technology, but there's going to be a section in there about using these tools for creators in the social media landscape a little bit. So a lot of discussion about AI and things like that. It's kind of interesting. Let's see. And if any of you want to go to one of the best colleges in the planet for recording audio production, then CU Denver, where I teach, is a pretty great place. Not just because of the school, but we're in Denver, right next to the Rocky Mountains, and it's a great place. So we have a master's program, everything. It's kind of awesome. Good program. A lot of great studios. Pro Tools, Logic, and Ableton in every room. So let's do a little check-in on this stuff, see if anything's happened. I'm not suspecting it's going to happen before 30 minutes from now, so we're going to have to find some stuff to talk about. There's lots of stuff to talk about. I was reading through what everybody's excited for. If you hadn't yet put it in the chat, what you're going to try out first the minute you install it, or for some of you to say, I'm not going to install it right now. It's a good test of that as well. Like Matthew Pate says, excited to test the stem splitter. There was a question a while ago about the stem splitter and what the point of it was, if it's just there to steal people's music. And that's only partially what it's for. People are going to use it for that. But It's also really useful for if you're doing some like song demos and you're just like playing piano and singing or something, then you can like pull out the piano part and have that so you can analyze it. Or you can analyze other people's productions while you're learning how to use it better. So there's a question about compatibility of Logic file format. I don't know if there's any information about that at this moment, but I do know we've had a hard time going backwards. So like Pro Tools is great. When you export a project, do a project export, you can choose which version of Pro Tools to make it compatible with. And Logic's never been great with that at all. The Mix Club says, I bet they will wait till 11:59. That's my luck. That's how I feel. So at some point today, I have children at school. I'm going to have to go pick them up. And my luck is that that's when it's going to happen. Or if it doesn't happen by then I'm going to have to go to Trader Joe's to buy milk so that they can eat cereal and just drink milk. And then that will be when it happens. So we're hoping that that's not how it happens for any of those things. Ugh. But which time zone is a great question, Spielbarrel. 100 gig. It's going to be a download. I mean, those instruments are not going to be super teeny, I hope. I heard that if you do a super chat on this channel, that you get the download an hour sooner than everybody else. I'm just kidding, so don't actually believe that, but that'd be awesome. Something important came up. Tim Cook had to like go on vacation. They're like, oh, stop all updates. Let's hope. So, worst case scenario, we get some new musicians and like 1,000 new bugs. Why is that? It's like they invent new bugs that we didn't even have never had before every time they do this. It's not an imagined thing. They literally release new features and there's bugs in it and then they will fix them as time goes on. Like they don't even they're about to have all of us beta test this new version. I know we have an actual beta testing team, but you're all about to, anybody who downloads this, and myself included, are about to be the biggest beta testing group that this particular version will have had up to this point. Is 10.8.1 the same as 11? Asking for a friend. You're funny. It took me a while to get the Sonoma 14.5. Not like forever, but like longer than I was expecting. Let's see. Someone call me a troll. But it was not false in that case. Beta testing team was like 50 people, I'm guessing. I don't know how big it is or not, but I can't believe we're going to be doing a huge amount of testing with this. And don't forget to actually update the things that you find that are wrong. They do listen. It's an easy way for them to know about things, so definitely fix them. I don't know who the bass players are that they collaborated with for the AI training. I don't know if they've announced it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. We often will hear at some point through the grapevine who they were. But I wish that they would actually, maybe they're protecting the bass players from, retribution for being a part of an AI project. Or maybe it's the coders who just used to be a guitar player and washed up and now plays bass in their free time. That's more likely. 11 is just an update, not a purchase in either case of iPad or Mac. free update for Mac, and it's just a continuing update for the subscription model on the iPad. May 13th is April Fool's Day. That's funny. John, you're hilarious. Okay. Man, we're inching towards this. We are inching towards it. We're not moving that fast towards it, that's for sure. But 28 minutes. And then, like I said, if it's not here just after the next hour, then we'll be pausing the stream again and going on for that. I don't know. That sounds like fake news. RJE Records. Because I don't think it comes when you just open up Logic. Somebody open it up. Saeed said 5 p.m. Eastern time. Anybody who actually knows is just making up stuff. Is my guess. I love you guys. This is like my favorite group of people on the planet. Do you know what we have that Reaper users don't have? I think we should take a little break for a minute. I think we should take a break and do some ChatGPT Reaper jokes. Because we can do that. Let's see if ChatGPT is going to be nice to us. Hey, do you know what Reaper... Oh, I have to cancel. Do you know Reaper, the digital audio workstation? Oh.
Could you clarify what you mean by tap the cue?
Oh, my gosh. Reaper. Man, this thing is dumb. This is dumber than Logic. Okay, we're just going to type it in. Can you tell me some Reaper DAW jokes? This is where we're at now. Apple has made us do this. Oh my gosh. Here are the jokes that ChatGPT just gave us. Oh, to be clear, someone just asked to go easy on Reaper. Gina. I own Reaper and I use Reaper. I don't like to publicize that too much, but I have a microphone from a Polish company. The microphone's called Zilia. It's a 19-channel third-order ambisonic microphone. Logic can't do it, and Reaper can. So I use Reaper when I'm in the field quite a bit for that microphone. Anyway, here's some jokes. Why did the musician bring a scythe to the recording studio? I didn't make these up. These are ChatGPT. Because they heard the tracks needed some Reaper. That's so dumb. Okay, these jokes are not mean enough at all. How does a Reaper user change a light bulb? They don't. They automate it to adjust with the mix. Oh my gosh. Can you make them meaner, please? ChatGPT does not like to be mean. It's very nice. It's going to add some edge, though. Okay, here we go. Here's a good one. Why do Reaper users always look calm? Anybody want to guess? Because they know no matter how bad their mix sounds, they can always blame the software. Oh, that was mean. How many Reaper users does it take to screw in a light bulb? Just one, but it takes 300 custom scripts and a forum to post to figure it out. That's a little bad grammar. Just one, but it takes 300 custom scripts and a forum post to figure it out. There we go. I like that. That's funny. Number 3, what's the difference between a Reaper session and a black hole? Nothing. They both suck in all your time and you can't escape. Oof. That's going to be fun. We're going to have to do some of that with Pro Tools jokes in a few minutes. Wow, ChatGPT is harsh. I wish I could get it talking now. It does talk. It's just right this moment, I think it's having a hard time. Oh, we should ask, when will Logic Pro 11 be released today?
I don't have real-time browsing capabilities to check the exact release details or updates. It's best to check Apple's official website.
Oh my gosh, it didn't help us at all. Whatever. No, the new one. So I know you're saying it only goes to 2022. I'm on the ChatGPT 4.5 Turbo, and it actually can look up information that's real time. It has access to Bing, the browser Bing, but that doesn't really help with good logic rumors. It can look up things right from this morning if it wanted to. Sometimes it forgets what it's capable of. Mr. Youngblood is learning Pro Tools in school right now. We teach that in our school. I teach that to my students as well. Pro Tools is still the industry standard for recording studios, and so it's really important to learn that. It's important for all of you if you want to be a pro in the studio circuit to learn it. Spielbarrow's making fun of me for paying for OpenAI. I don't give all of my money to them. It's a bigger subscription than Logic Pro, though, for sure. Oof. But I'm a huge fan of AI in some applications, for darn right. If you drop Reaper and Pro Tools from a 14-story building, which one will hit the ground first? Who cares? Oh. Another question, how long until the Logic manuals on iBooks will typically be updated from a new release? In the past, it's not been immediate, that's for sure. It definitely takes a little bit of time. I've noticed sometimes it's faster than others, but I've never seen it on the same day at least. Doo-doo-doo. Gemini. Yeah, people are trying to get the news out as if it's happening now, but it's still, we're not seeing it. 20 minutes away, and then that would be actually my favorite thing in the world. If somebody could do the default Reaper appearance as a skin for Logic, so that I could make people think I'm using Reaper when I'm still using Logic. That would be a Christmas present that I would cherish. So something like a ChatGPT type model should be able to, if they really had all the information in a way that was accessible. If I said there's a Logic update coming, they could look back at every single other one that's ever been released, figure out what is likely to happen, and give us a prediction. But I don't think that it's actually advanced enough to do something like that at this point. I've tried to do all kinds of stuff. I actually did a video not too long ago about ChatGPT. You can upload PDFs into the current version. So I uploaded the Logic Pro manual, and it was amazing. It could read through it and find stuff. and explain things at different like language levels. You could have it translate parts into foreign languages, summaries into foreign. So if you're not a native English speaker, you could use ChatGPT to actually help you understand some of the features that maybe aren't written very well in English in the first place, but you're having to translate it. But you could use it to explain it to you. And I do think the Logic Manual is available in different languages as well, right? I mean, can someone confirm that? I actually don't know. I'd be shocked if it wasn't, but that doesn't mean it is. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, and MIDI scripts too. It is capable. Some of the longer scripts it has a hard time with doing things with, but I've dropped in some of the scripter scripts from Logic into ChatGPT and had it alter it for me, expand out certain parameters and things. I need to do a full video on that at some point because I think that the more advanced that ChatGPT gets, the better it is at actually doing it. And the early versions were hit and miss, but you can actually dump in some of the shorter scripts and say, can you add this to this and this to it? And it takes the existing thing and it's able to make those changes. Then you can just pop it back in, and it was really nice. The interface of Logic. My number one issue with the interface of Logic is how gray it is. And there's a lot of different pieces that are not contrasty enough. And so in dim light or from a distance, it's really hard to read some things and understand what's happening on there. So Stefan, you can send out MIDI, especially from the environment. And if you know what protocol the effects pedals use, then you can send it out and make sliders, custom sliders that go to them. I've seen people do that a lot. The Pro Tools dark theme is pretty interesting. But the old Pro Tools, the original one that's like so bright and white, is like even worse in some ways. It's like really intense. Mike, not with these type of updates, I don't think. That's usually when they're doing big product page changes, and they've already done that last week. So the Apple page was down or was updated with all the new stuff, and no one knew it was coming, so I think that they just kind of did it covertly. And then the App Store, I don't think they've ever gone down for like a Logic update in the past. Best compressors for drums are not software compressors. They're distressors. They're amazing for drums. You should get a pair. It's only like thousands of dollars, but it's worth it. Let's see. Greetings from Greece. Yo, Europe. Late. Nah, it's actually not that late yet. It's getting there. Plug search, plug search it is cool. I wish we had it built in. I don't usually do a lot of third party things. I don't have enough plugins. It's like I keep on getting plugins and then deciding I don't really need them and then getting rid of them. Oof. Fat Effects in Logic is great on drums as well. That's one of anything they got from Camel Audio is an amazing win for Logic, an amazing loss for the rest of the music industry, because they went from being open to everybody using them as third-party things to just being in Logic. So good. Final Cut Pro is supposed to be getting one today too. Let's just do a quick look at it and see if it's come out. Not yet there either. So we're getting about 15 minutes away before we do another pause on this thing for a little bit while I eat some lunch, and then we'll be back afterwards. These streams are really just designed to give us all a place to vent about how long it's taking. And I think it's been pretty successful at that, given the number of people who are here venting. I mean, we're like, the first stream hit like 3,000, 4,000 views. This one's at almost 3,000 views, and this is part 2. I'm guessing, unless they release this right after the next hour, that we're looking at an hour or two later on. Mike Midmus. I don't want that, actually. I don't want Apple to buy Dream Tonics. I actually know the founder of Dream Tonics. I've been on a Zoom with him recently, and I've made some videos for them. I love Dream Tonics, the thought of it, but I don't love the thought of it going away from, I mean, right now Dream Tonics gets to do what this amazing person thinks of. Comes up with an idea and he like builds it. When you go into the Apple system, it's no longer exactly like that. There's so many factors and restrictions. I know it's like you think of Apple as being kind of an innovative company in the past, but they're not doing a lot of like innovative stuff right this moment, right? It's just not. So nothing that we're seeing is truly like groundbreaking in some ways. Okay, let me do a check on the iPad version for a minute. Just to see if, for some reason, one of them is coming out earlier than the other. And nope, there's nothing there either. Oh my gosh. Johan Keilig said something I agree with. For every workstation out there, some of them do. Can we just have a phase switch button on every channel instead of having to load the stupid gain plugin? Why don't we have that? What's the downside to this? What's the downside to having a phase switch on every channel? Oh my gosh. What else would we want on every channel? We want the channels to start as a stereo panner instead of a balance knob. Just a couple years ago, we got the stereo panner added. And before that, it was a balance knob for like decades. Which means that if you had a stereo source, like a virtual instrument, piano maybe, and the piano was recorded like over with that perspective with the low keys being on the left a little bit and the high keys being on the right, so you have a stereo image. If you turned your pan knob all the way to the left, all you had were the left part of the stereo image and the right part was just turned off. And so we have a stereo panner now, but you have to right click on each one to turn it on. You don't even, it's like, if you don't understand that concept, we're talking about Logic Pro being used by somebody who's brand new to audio production, right? Brand new to audio production. You go in there, you're not going to click on something and make it a stereo panner. You're not even know what that means. So why in the world is it the default? Mind-boggling. Right. Yes. So true. Thanks, Alex. I feel like this is going to be looked back upon as like the moon landing or something, you know? People are going to watch this footage in 100 years and be like, this was the moment that that robots took over the music industry. Okay, maybe not. And then also, so the panning to 100 instead of 64, that they just need to take away those numbers and make it a percentage. Who cares what the actual numbers are? Just make it so that you understand 0, 100% right, 100% left. Just make it simple to understand. But I think it's, Justin, I think it's screwing up their track to have it in balance mode instead of stereo pan mode. I mean, I think that they're actually screwing it up with the way it is. That's what I was thinking. Balance may be important for somebody at some point, although I can't imagine when. Anybody know when a balance knob is the right knob to choose? Tell me in the chat, because I would love. Let's see. Oh, this is a good group. Your chat comments are bringing me great joy in a time of darkness and suffering, waiting for logic to update. Said with slight amount of sarcasm. It's definitely a thing, Fritz79. Oh man, I'm just reading. So proud of our community. If we have to wait anything past the next hour, then we're going to move into some more Reaper user jokes. I felt like that was the bright part of this. Better input channel view. Most people don't even fully understand the input channel view anyway. What was that about Rosetta? Just, you guys are talking too much. Jeez. I hope that Rosetta... Oh, yeah. Rosetta for 32-bit plugins is never going to happen. I'm sorry. I make hits. I'm so sorry. It's never going to happen. It's starting to get late in Europe. If Apple was smart, they would do it before Europe went to bed. Or maybe they want you all to go to bed, so that way we have less server usage. Although, you got to imagine that you're going to be having the App Store in Europe is European storage. I'm sure we're not sharing those now that I think about it. There's no way. What did the Mix Club say that woke you up for that? Oof, anyway. Another good question, thought about the ARA support and logic being improved in 11. Who knows, but we could hope. It's ridiculous. Ironically, Apple does their own kind of ARA implementation with things like some of the synthesizers, Alchemy for one, had to use something like ARA. When ARA was first introduced, Alchemy was at the same time kind of introduced, and it uses a bunch of, it was the ability to like load up files in the plugin that were different than the transport. So it wasn't just playing things left to right sequentially. You can actually do a lot of stuff back and forth. But then it's like broken, or has been broken according to a lot of people, with Melodyne. And so who knows? ARA does not work in Apple Silicon chips. That's what we're saying. It's just maybe there's a way to do it, or maybe the companies need to change how they're doing it to match Apple. I don't know. That's complicated. That's above my pay grade. FL Studio is still, Just Do It is saying something about FL Studio. I own that one too. It's great. The pitcher tool in there is one of my favorite harmonizers, and they were doing that like 15, 20 years ago. Really cool. Alex Buga says something about the small things that they didn't announce. That's what I'm actually most interested in too, although I want to see how the rest of it works, but I'm more interested in the small things. You can do a backup of 10 and probably run it as well, but it's not going to be the natural. It won't be like the default way that it does. Yeah, the code Moto says TikTok Apple. I agree. What the heck? Let's do a quick check-in with the App Store. Not yet. Burr. How am I liking my M1 Ultra? I feel the need for the M4. The M1 Ultra, it's going to be a long time before I need to replace it. It's like I'm not even hitting anything in terms of Logic Pro. Every once in a while when I'm doing, because I do a lot of stuff with immersive video and audio as well. And I've got a camera from Insta360. It's the Pro 2. It does 8K video in stereoscopic, so 3D. And those files, if I bring them on, and they're like not exactly uncompressed, if they're ProRes format, like a 5-minute file can be 80 gigabytes. I mean, maybe even bigger. They're massive. And to edit those, the M1 Ultra, Mac Studio Ultra, it can do it. But I can see that if I had one of the bigger computers, that maybe it would save me a little bit of time. It's just time that I don't mind spending for the moment. So that's interesting. Xcode update just dropped. Interesting. So those who are just checking in, we are waiting essentially 15 minutes. And in 15 minutes, if it hasn't updated, we're going to close this stream for 45 minutes while I eat lunch. And then we'll restart it up and hopefully it'll be in by then. I don't think it's going to be much longer than that. It's 1 o'clock. I have an hour and 20 minutes before I can't stream for a little while because life. And then after that, I will be streaming this evening once it comes out at that point. It should be out by this evening at the very latest. But I really wanted to do this stream and download it all live. And I'm pretty sure they're going to screw me on that. What's for lunch? What is for lunch? I don't know, actually. I cook a ton of stuff, so, but right now I'm in between things, and so I probably will eat something fast. The Mix Club. Yeah, I mean, I slept great last night. I mean, pretty great. For all of you who are still young, just be aware that eventually you'll be old, and you won't be immune from old people things. So enjoy your sleep now because it gets harder. It gets harder. Just order a pizza. Don't let us down. I'm not going to tell you what I'm eating for lunch for reals. I did look after midnight just to see if they did a midnight release. But they did not. And then I was sleeping. I'm a night owl by nature, but oh well. Anybody who says, and people have told me the Command R to refresh the page, but it doesn't make any change visually. And so I wonder, it doesn't even go up to the menu thing up there. So I'm skeptical. I know that if you are up here and you say, where is it? Right there, reload page. There is the Command R, but I'm skeptical. So I'm just hitting it like that. I've been doing it both ways. How can you email me? You can't? I'm just kidding. Who are you wanting to email? My university address is on the university webpage. It's not hidden. Oof. I don't know. Maybe there is, but I don't. Right now, it just says Logic Pro. Doesn't give us 10 on that. They took off the X out of the name like a year or two ago. It is still coming today. It will. It comes. This is the window. This is the prime time. And so it's going to happen right as I go to get some food. You should all be like, why don't you get lunch right now, Sam? Because the minute I stop this stream is the minute it's going to update. The only reason I think in 15 minutes is because I'm waiting for the hours, And then I'm waiting for a little time after the hours. And then after that hour period, that's when I'm thinking, well, maybe it'll roll over to the next hour. I'm not thinking for any specific reason. Just splitting this up so I know for myself when I need to take a break. As much fun as it is for you all to just sit there and type, talking on camera and live stream is actually an acquired taste. I don't know if any of you have ever tried doing like a live stream and talking for multiple hours, but talking at a camera to a microphone is actually a really strange experience. So, and on top of that, I would definitely say 1,000% I'm an introvert, and making this happen for a long period of time can actually be pretty tricky. Let's see. I'm going to check in with social media for a second on my phone. Looks like my email box is controlled by Apple right now. There's nothing there either, which is probably nice. Nope, nothing in my that's it's totally. Apple F. Did everybody remember when the command key was the Apple key? I'm gonna leave. So those, it's been asked a number of times. I'm leaving my YouTube channel Logic Pro X Life because it will become it'll become more of a tribute to when Apple wasn't subscription based. It'll be a tribute to when Apple wasn't AI based. It'll be like a retro thing that everybody will understand. But I guarantee that for the years, people would say, your name shouldn't have the X in it. Shouldn't. But you know what? As long as you do it on purpose, who cares? Okay, let's try. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, we'll see. There's no reason to upgrade it. You only get like 2 upgrades in your whole life with that thing. And I've already used one of them to get to Logic Pro X Life. So, yeah, that's what I'll call it. My new channel name will be Logic Never Upgraded Logic Never Upgraded Pro Life. I could just add the 1 in there. Logic Pro X1 Life. I mean, the name doesn't matter. I mean, look at half of your names on here. It's like, it doesn't matter. Doo-doo-doo. If I change it to anything, it would be Logic Pro Life. But who knows? Okay, Life and Logic. Maybe we should do a survey on the channel and let everybody vote on some new names. If you all could name my YouTube channel, what would you call it? That's the question. Maybe I should call it the formerly known as Logic Pro X Life. Logic Pro was Life. Yeah? iWeb. I miss iWeb too. I used to actually like that whole set of things back when Apple cared about the internet and didn't just want people to use apps. I can't call it Logic Pro 11 Life though, because that just is another problem in 10 years. The cult of Logic. That would actually be appropriate, seeing how you all are. I mean, that would be the most descriptively accurate thing I've ever seen. The Logic Pro, the cult, yeah, because what did you? Oh, I just the cult of Logic. Logic Pro choice, Nelson. You're hilarious. That's a different channel. Logic Lovers Reaper. Oh my gosh. The anti Reaper Logic cult. We should call it the E Magic Life. There's just some good ideas. Logic Verse, the channel formerly known as Logic Pro X Life. I got it. I got the joke. Logic Church, preach Logic. The Logic Dude. Logic Phase Button X Life. Logic Lord. Legends of Logic. Logic Pro. No. Angry Daw Nerd. If I did that, then I can actually tell. Because I do get angry. And I definitely rant on this channel. I've thought about making this just a ranting channel. We all need more of that, I feel like. Logic Pro Death. Oof. Deep. Dark. Some of you are coming up with some pretty epically bad names. Logic Prophet. Logic Evangelist. See, the thing about some of those names are, while they may be true, the word logic in and of itself is a tricky name on the internet. Just like when Apple called their word processor Pages or their spreadsheet thing Numbers. I mean, do you know how hard it is to find some information about those apps when you're like, I need help with numbers? Oh, awesome. I need help with logic. Ooh, that's tricky. It's great if you're in the ecosystem all the time, but not always great. Man, this is going to make me go have lunch. I do have this great page. Let me see if I can. Which one is it? I got rid of it. Maybe it's here. No, please hold. I did develop this page. My mic still, I think, works. That's the page. Logic made you have lunch. Yep. There's maybe probably before 5 is what I imagine somebody was meaning. Logic Space, Logic Land. I like these names. Cut the crap. Refresh. I can't refresh. It's not coming. I'm gonna have to go take a lunch break. The Logical channel also gives the wrong search results. It's hard for search engine optimization. It's finally there. Somebody find it? Did somebody get it for real? Or are you just making crap up? Not out. I've never seen a Logic update come out at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I would be surprised if it came out at that time. The only thing I can think of is that there's enough people interested that maybe they're worried about, maybe they are trying to wait for some reason, for some server reason. I don't know. The Alchemist. I could actually go for that channel name. That girl does know everything, by the way. Oh, I'll work with ChatGPT later on. What would be a good name? It's very logical thinking, unfortunately. Ooh, I'm just going to sit back and read these chats. So someone's going to watch this later, hopefully. The reason I put the chat up on the screen, I don't normally do that, but this is the best part of the streams, in my opinion. You are all the best part of Logic Pro. Who cares about new bass player? If I could bundle you all into like a jar and sell it, you would be bought by at least 3 people. The update from 9 to 10 was like 10 years ago now. It's been a while. Probably is going to be 2025. That's how it feels. This is what they want. And this is why, literally, this is why another reason I don't want to do beta testing for a product like this. Because this is like Christmas. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, I'm aware that not everybody does. But when you're a kid and Christmas comes around, you finally understand what it means. It's like you don't get to sleep that night. You do because you get tired enough. But then you think you're going to wake up early and try to do something. And so you're like up at 3 a.m. trying to sneak and see what presents you got. That feeling is rarely replicatable. But today is one of those days that you all get to feel like it. Like the anticipation is bigger than the actual thing. Because I guarantee when this comes out and you all download it, you're all going to go back to life and be like, oh my gosh, I thought that was going to be amazing. It's no ghost notes. You're going to have to all use FL Studio. Whoa, Hank, I'm so sorry. That's how it feels right this second, really. Like we all woke up and there's no Santa. Oof, my screen just went down. Okay, there it is. They are using AI to do the release. And AI is like, you'll get better results if you do it in 2025. The anticipation will be amazing. Yeah, it's only noon 14 in Cupertino. Oh, I feel like this whole stream is only going to be worth it if we do it live and it all comes out. The minute we miss it live, it's going to be so sad. We won't have shared this experience. But I'm not hitting as much because I know some of you are doing it. The minute some of you say that you found it, then we can actually be able to do that. Okay, so France, Alf, I need you to talk to me for a minute. I tell this story to my students, but I don't know if it's actually true. I've only read about it, but I've not actually talked to someone from France. Is Logic the most popular workstation in France? Alf, I need you to help me with this. Man, what is up with my monitor? Apple doesn't like computers that keep the monitors on. Let's see. How many musicians does it take to install a Logic Pro update? That's a good question. Okay, we're going to take a short Reaper joke. Telling ChatGPT to give us some more Reaper jokes. Number 1, according to ChatGPT, why did the musician break up with Reaper? Anybody? Because it was too clingy, always talking about commitment and rendering. How Haha, ChatGPT. Number 2, what do you call a Reaper user with a smooth mix? A tourist, because they're definitely not from around here. Oh, that's funny. How do you know someone's a Reaper user? Don't worry, they'll tell you, and then ask for help with their routing. Okay, 3 more. This is what we need. We need to have some sort of sacrificial thing to make this software update come. And it may be that we need to find a Reaper user for that, to fill that particular role. Ugh. Still nothing. Okay. 3 more from ChatGPT. And it says at the beginning, absolutely, let's keep the roasts coming for Reaper. ChatGPT, you're so savage. Why don't Reaper users play hide and seek? Oh, Cyber Heater on there just gave a good roast about it. At least their updates come out at time. Because good luck hiding when every track is already exposed in the mix. Okay, it's kind of funny. Yeah, seriously. What were they thinking making this Logic update all about the bass player? Like that update was ever going to come on time. What's Reaper's favorite type of homework? A crash course, because it's always studying how to unexpectedly quit. Okay. That was okay. How is Reaper like being in a bad relationship? You put in the effort and it still gives you unexpected feedback. Whoa. Okay. That's harsh. Okay, well. Depends on what studio you're talking about. So someone was asking what else I use in the studio. We have amazing studios on our campus that are really great. In this room that I'm in right now, my streaming room and my composition room, I've got an 88 key SL88 from Studio Logic, like hammered function keys, nice and wide. I got the Nectar Panorama CS12, the Logic control surface, which I'm wondering if this is going to work when I update to Logic 11. I don't know. I'm not actually waiting for them to come out with drivers to do the update, so we'll see. And then I've got an Icon Platform M Plus, 8-channel, or it actually has 9 motorized faders on it, and a Steam Deck for streaming, 2 monitors. I have an SSL 12 as my main interface, and that you can do 4 with preamps, 8 with light pipe. So you get 12 inputs, and then you have a little microphone for talkback, which actually is another input, and foldback, which is another 2. So technically, I think there's like 16 total inputs on that. I got a bunch of synthesizers and things. A lot of MIDI controllers, breath controllers, all kinds of fun stuff with that. My ARP 2600 is sitting in the other room, one of my favorite things. And this room is kind of small, but it needs to be quiet. It's in my basement, and I noticed when we got this house that there was one closet, and above, it's cement. It's like the front door. And then the walls are each cement with dirt on each side. And there's only one side that goes into an open space, and that I've got nice and sealed. So people can make quite a bit of noise and they don't bother me. Let's go back. I like this keyboard. it was the right price. I mean, I'm not a huge spender on things, but this was it was the right price, and I got it on a good sale from B&H. It's nice. I do want to get a MIDI 2.0 keyboard at some point. I like the other jokes coming in. I think everyone should post a joke. Nice. Got the 88 Studio last month as well. Bought the laptop stand for it as well. It works great and not that expensive. It's all USB powered. I mean, the joysticks are kind of small, but I have used them a number of places. You can tell that I should have lunch. Yes. We're going to try 2 more times because it may be that Sides is right. Okay, what we're going to do. Yeah, there's the Xcode update everyone's talking about. We don't need that, though, we don't need that for Logic to get installed. Gigadeath, you crack me up. And Native Instruments stuff will work in Logic Pro 11 for sure. Oh, DJ Mad. Eesh. That's funny though. Logic Pro 11, sponsored by Dave Chappelle. Oh my gosh. It hasn't dropped yet. For anyone who's just joining, we are all commiserating with suffering and pain. But no Logic 11 as of this point, and it's looking like the other rumors of 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is in an hour and a half. Oh, maybe the next time. So that's an hour and a half. And we can always hope. So here's what's really going to happen. And I kid you not, there's a good likelihood. The session guitarist just showed up and they had to fit him in. Awesome. Oof. Well, it's not here yet for those who are coming in. We're going to take a break in a minute, and then I'm going to restart the stream. I don't know. It would have been really nice to have this thing pop on right when we were streaming. But I have a feeling that it's waiting for me to stop streaming. Just sitting back and enjoying all of you vent a little bit. This is my favorite part. How many do we have on here right now? We have a good number too. I hate to pull the plug on this stream. Why don't I will monitor the stream, but I'm going to turn off my camera and I'm going to turn off my voice and just let it stream for about 20 minutes without me here. So keep talking. I'm going to go grab a bite to eat, but I'm not going to cancel the stream until I have 1 more hour that I can stream before my kids wonder where I am picking them up at school. I mean, Logic Pro, pick up my kids at school. I don't want to go to jail, so I'll pick them up. Everyone just hang tight. Okay, back for a few minutes at least. We're going to see if it comes on the hour. And if it does, then great. And if it doesn't, then we're going to pause for like 30 to 40 minutes until 5 o'clock Eastern time. And if it works, if it's then comes out then we'll talk about it. But right now we're just doing a lot of waiting. I was up eating lunch and put the stream on the TV and was just dying laughing at some of your comments. So we'll see. We're counting down now for 7 minutes. We'll see what happens. Refreshing every couple minutes here just in case. But I don't know. It feels like, really slowed down a little bit here. And texting some people, getting some ideas if we expect it to come or not. I don't know. Feels like at some point, I wish I could hear everybody. I wish I could hear everybody scream at the time it comes. And Plastidon, just so you know, that's funny you said that because right when you said your wife just made dinner plans with friends, she tried calling me just now. I'm like, I just got back on the stream, so I muted her call. I don't think she's watching the stream right now, but I'll let her know in a minute or two that Logic Pro may have just won. Yikes. Don't tell her. She is not one of my followers. She doesn't subscribe to my channel. And so she probably doesn't know. Man, I can't even refresh. Let's just go to the page just in case. Doing it both ways. Okay, nothing yet. It's not a red flag. We're good. Oh, red flag that she's not a subscriber? Maybe that. Huh. I think she subscribes to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock's channel, so maybe it is a red flag. Maybe I should wonder about this. What a day. This has been a long time coming, so the minute it comes, and what's going to happen is my next break will be one where I'm not near my computer for about 30 minutes. And during those 30 minutes is probably when it's going to come out. And so you're all going to have to just post and stuff. But when I get back, we will. I might actually stop the stream at that point so I can start a fresh one. And the fresh one will be where we actually have the downloading and the unpackaging. But we'll see. Yeah, nothing right now. You're eating an apple. Or just Apple itself. Interesting. So far we've had 7,100, so 7,170 views. Some of you have been here most of the morning or the whole time. And for those of you, huge shout out for being awesome. And but we're going to check this out here. I feel like we need this every time. I feel like we need to know approximately when it's coming, and then all of us need to be on a live stream bonding over this like shared suffering, because that is worth it. It's like we're in the trenches of this thing right this moment, and I love that. I've never seen a Logic update in the evening ever. I've seen one or two in the early morning, before I woke up. I remember because there was one time when they did a big update, and I wasn't, I'm not privy to the exact timing that they're coming out, but I knew approximately when that one was coming out. But they released it in the early morning, and all of the other YouTubers who do Logic content, but they're behind the embargo, they can't talk about it until it's released. They got all their videos out before I was awake because it came out like the crack of dawn, and they were all told when it was coming out. So they released all their videos, and then that time around I got like a fraction of the views, and it was fine. This isn't my main job, but it was. I remember being, ugh, why Apple did you release it in the middle of the night? We didn't get to do this all together. Right? AC Beat Pro is like right on the money with that. The expectation that existed with the iPhone. Once that was announced, and we couldn't get one right away, but it looked amazing. Okay, let's do a couple refreshes. We're like minutes away. Nothing in the store yet. But I will do it the other way just in case. Sometimes I have had to go to the actual product page. Not that time. Okay. Well, so the latest news we're hearing is if it's not right now, then 1 hour from now is when it will release. We're going to stick on this stream for about 15 or 20 minutes right now. And then I'm going to actually stop the stream and restart it. It would be an hour from now. But we're not going to stop it yet. We're going to wait another few minutes. We're going to wait and see if it does somehow roll out. It just switched over to the hour. It's 2 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So that means it's 4 o'clock on the East Coast and 1 o'clock in California. And most of Europe would be 10 o'clock right now. So, but it doesn't always just drop right in a minute. It doesn't just flip over. Sometimes it goes around. So 10 p.m. in Norway, I'm seeing in the chat. I know, right? Martin, I totally agree. It's been 1 hour from now. We're not actually saying it's 1 hour. We're just saying we're checking on the hour, because we'll see what that means. 9 p.m. in the UK. Oh, so I was wrong about the time. 7 hours different right now? How many time zones do we have across the European Union? We must have 2 or 3 then. 2 or 3 time zones. And then Greece. Okay, Greece is 11. Awesome. In the United States, for those of you who are international, we have 3 main time zones, and then not counting in Alaska or Hawaii. We have West Coast. Oh, no, 4. What am I saying? Pacific, Mountain, Central, and East Coast. So we have 4 in the continental United States, and then additional ones for Hawaii and Alaska. What am I thinking? I just forgot about Central. The whole central part of the United States, not in my brain. And where I am in Denver, Colorado, it is Mountain Time. And it's either MST, which is Mountain Standard Time, or MDT, which is Mountain Daylight Time. More information than you really wanted to know. So we're in the daylight time period right now, the daylight savings time period. So MDT. And Jay has been very insistent that it's going to be 5 p.m. based on a conversation with Mrs. Logic herself, which is a pretty reliable source. But We're going to see. So we're going to talk for another 8 or 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We're going to stop the stream at that point. I'll start a fresh one just before 5 o'clock or Eastern Standard Time. It is totally dropping today. They're not going to lie about that. That's like the one thing Apple doesn't do. They're not going to say that it's coming and then change their mind at the last second. Yeah. But I do have this inkling that I'm going to turn off the stream and I'll have to go away for 30 minutes without anything, and it'll probably drop right then. That's just the way that this is bound to go. These trains on the tracks, and no ability to control them. But maybe it will drop in the next 10 minutes. But I don't see it happening. Everybody's still checking, I'm assuming, on your end. And if it had dropped, of course, you would have said something in the chat. Let's just check really quick. Well, I have Final Cut on here too, so it would show up. Final Cut is probably supposed to come. Let me just check the iPad just in case, because that's the other version, of course. And it is not updated either. Okay, so we're probably looking at right this minute. I have to leave the station here in 16 minutes. And so that'll be right when it releases. You all can just count on that. 16 minutes is when Logic's coming out. I'm just kidding, but seriously. Oof. There's a lot of good excitement. Man, we're up to 618 people watching. We've been going on this stream for 2 hours and 2 minutes. We did a part 1 stream earlier. I feel like... Well, so here's the deal. When I cut the stream, I am going to cut it hard this time, not just like walk away. Because all of you need to go out and get some vitamin D. Well, those of you who are at nighttime can't see the sun, but you should go out and walk around for a few minutes if you're going to stay up late. And 55 minutes or 50 minutes from now, about 50 minutes, I'm going to start part 3. And part 3 will be where we go until it's released, unless it's just not coming and it's hours away. At some point, other stuff will have to happen. But we'll go as long as we realistically can. And then what'll happen is it'll be a bigger break. And then... And Scott says, Apple owes it to streamers like you to provide a release time. I'm sure the beta testers and the other YouTubers who are not on here, they're not on partially because they might not be able to, but also maybe they know stuff we don't. But this is still, I think, really interesting to get to know a lot more of you and have this conversation happening. It's been super useful for me to see all of your thoughts and what you're interested in. That's going to help me, as I make videos over the next week, focus on things that I know you're interested in because of what you're saying in these streams. And so that, I think, is going to be really important for me to know more of what you're interested in. And so as we get there, it's not there yet. As we get there, then this evening around 8:30 or 9 o'clock, I'll be doing another hour or 2 stream. I'm assuming that'll be a much smaller stream because a number of people will be in bed. Some of you, that would be really early in the morning. But I'll be doing it just to start going over the release notes. And so with the release notes, that's where we're going to get into what's really different in this version as opposed to the previous version. I'm going to keep going for another 12 minutes. So we're not going to give up yet. And another time. Who can guess what I just had for lunch? Just kidding. We're not going to play that game. That'd be awesome. If anybody could guess, whoa. We'll feature your song on one of the upcoming videos. That's where we're at. That's what Apple has driven us to do. They've driven us to sit here and talk about what we ate for lunch. It was not pizza or fish tacos. No rice. I wish I had rice and chicken curry. Jeez, now you're making me hungry. I just had something fast. Not McDonald's. Nope, no. Falafel. Oh, I love falafel. Oh, yeah, you can't see it. There's nothing in my beard from it. Oh, I didn't have time. I didn't want to make tuna. I do love a good tuna melt. I make that a lot. Spaghetti, sushi. You all have pizza on the mind. Man, nobody's gotten it yet. I almost thought about having a hot dog because that's where I was. Got some of those nice Vienna hot dogs. Oh, they're so good. One kind that when you bite into them, they snap a little bit. Yum. Not pizza, no burgers, no soup. Although I did make this amazing potato soup. I do a lot of cooking from Czech Republic food because I have a lot of connections with the Czech Republic. So I spend a lot of time there and I speak fluent Czech. And so I made some Czech potato soup over the weekend. Oh, that was so good. Nope. Nobody's getting it, so I guess I'm safe. This is what Apple has made us do. Ooh, Pokeball. Wish. Oh, wish. Oof. That 14.5 took a long time for me, too. Johan lives 2 hours in the Czech Republic. Cool. I'll be there this summer in July. I'm thinking about doing a meetup, but more information on that if we do one. It's a great place. I do a study abroad there with students every summer, and it's great. Ah, ahoy, Filippo. How do you say the accusative? Filipe, Hoško. Zdravím ze Slovenska. Do we have anybody else from the Czech Republic or Slovakia? It involved milk. That's the clue you're going to get. Oof. Filipe. Yeah. Ahoy. Jak se máš? Czech and Slovak are very difficult languages. I'm sure many of you who speak different languages also have it. I did have a bowl of cereal. That's, you caught me. My favorite bowl of cereal. It just needed to be quick. I was watching the stream on the TV. I thought about something healthier and then, I just did it. I had for breakfast pancake, sausage, and eggs. So I had a hearty breakfast and then a light lunch, and then I'll do something. Mom's so fine, Esma. Oh, cool. Beat the USA. I will. I usually do. We're good, healthy eaters at our family. Okay, we're getting close. 8 minutes until the stream is wrapping. And we'll be wrapped for, I don't know, 35 to 40 minutes. 35. I didn't watch it, Philippe, but I'm going to catch up on the news. Right now, we have the NBA finals in America, so I've been sported out a little bit. And we have the Stanley Cup, of course, and the Denver team is struggling a little bit, the Avalanche. But the Nuggets, our basketball team, are finally doing better. They really blew the first two games in their round this time, but they've just won 2 games in a row. Kyle slept with the bass player, and now we're in drama. And so they're trying to repair the drama before it gets released. That's what you really meant, Mark. Oof. We're gonna come back. I literally can't stay with my kids will be on the sidewalk at school thinking, what happened? But there's nothing coming right now. So 5 more minutes and then we'll pull the plug just for 40 minutes though. So go do what you need to do for 40 minutes. Take a nap if you're over across the world from here. So that way you can be up and pull an all-nighter. It's like you're all young and can handle the all-nighters, I'm sure. And then we'll be up here later tonight, so maybe set an alarm. I'll try to post up a link to the live stream earlier so you can see when it's going to start and engage that. But that's when we're going to go through all the release notes. And Jack is totally right. The minute I sign off, it's guaranteed that it's going to come out. So DJ Mad doing a live over there. That's awesome. But I'm hoping that it won't come out before 5 Eastern time, so that way we'll still have some of you watching it. I'm guessing it's set to some sort of timer, but we just don't know exactly when the timer is, which to me means it won't come out on a weird time of the hour, but weird things have happened, so, who knows. Sometimes I think they just like to mess with us. Do. Man, it's annoying, though. All day long. Hey, I'm in it though. This kind of stuff where we're sitting here chatting makes it all worthwhile. The wait makes the wait all worthwhile. Somebody says they got it. Are you serious, Lou? Drood. Lou Druid. Oh man, I can't pronounce anything. You're funny. Don't believe them. I thought about it too. It's like it would have been easy for me to like create a little bit of a graphic here that looked like it was there and downloading, but we don't do that. There's like this probably some sort of webcam at Apple headquarters where we could watch in, and like all of the machinery and tech, they turned on the AI for Logic and it took over the building. And now everyone's like fighting robots and things and the end of the world is happening. And we're just in here waiting for Logic to load. That's probably, ChatGPT can read music for sure. Benjamin Harris. No. You don't need Sonoma. You need 13.5. And they had a big, huge Google I/O keynote today that I haven't even had time to watch and see what's new with them. So we'll see. Okay, here's the deal. There's no point in waiting one more minute. If you're interested to come back, then 40 minutes from now, we'll be streaming one last part. And then hopefully we'll be downloading. I'm going to pull the plug for this one in about 1 minute. And then that's it for a little while, a little bit of a break. And we'll get back on this in 40 minutes. But I'm not going to let the stream go for this one. I want to get a clean stream started, which will make it easier to see. And I'll put a table of contents on that one for all the different parts. But hopefully you'll come back. You need to, because duh, this is the place to be. See you in a little bit.